You then go on to contradict yourself by saying that, well, Frieza's way is capable of destroying planets way beforehand. Thus, it's either A, you don't know what hyperbole is, or B, you don't know what you're talking about because you blatantly
Yeah,
said
you
before.
realize hyperboles can be used in different contexts, right? It doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's like, overthrowing what the character can do. It can also be underthrowing what the character can do based on the ignorance of the author. Yes.
Then you're then saying that there's like a different definition for hyperbole, which what are you getting that
Not
from?
necessarily, but it could just be used in a different context.
Yeah, if it's used differently, that means that there's a different definition. That's what homonyms are.
Yeah, exaggerating. Okay, you could just say it's exaggerating in what the character can do, right? Like in a negative sense. For example, this character can do more than that, and then he just like completely skips over what he can do and then says something lower to sound impressive. Not necessarily because he can't perform the actions that are, better, but because the authors are just ignorant about the character's
Also,
strength and yeah, what?
hearing it in the first place, I don't even think what you're saying is like a hyperbole in the first place. They're just saying that he can do this thing. That wouldn't be an that would be over exaggeration in a
Yeah, yeah,
negative
I
sense.
said it could.
I don't,
I said it
I
could. I
don't,
never
I
said it
don't,
was. So this is
I,
just a sub point that doesn't even
yeah,
matter.
I'm saying that it couldn't be an over exaggeration if he's saying he can do this, over exaggeration at a negative point or a positive point. If he's saying that he can do this thing, he's not
Yeah, yeah,
saying that.
but obviously,
He's not
obviously,
saying
I'm referring to.
he's not saying with this power I could destroy worlds. He just says that, oh, you're not the only one that could do this thing. That wouldn't be an over exaggeration positively or negatively. So that would be a. I don't see how that would like. If the thing in question isn't even an over exaggeration, but you're arguing an over
Yeah,
exaggeration,
yeah, but
transcending
no,
statement,
because like
time
I said,
statement,
it's
then
inconsequential to his scaling. Why are they mentioning worlds when they're already at the power level to destroy universes lowballed? Like I
yeah,
said,
because
it's
he's saying that
inconsequential.
he
You're
can
not
do it.
tracking.
Yeah, I'm saying that
How did
he
you
just
how
said
did you contend to the point about it being inconsequential?
what's going on here. I'm saying, regardless of it being inconsequential or not, is that an over exaggeration or is that an over exaggeration in terms of positively or negatively due to the fact that he's saying, I can do this? If I say I can break a pencil when I can punch a hole through the wall, that's not an over exaggeration negatively to my own power. I'm just saying what I can do.
Go over that again. Go over that again. Sorry.
Regardless of the tier of power of the character, if the character says that he can do X, it's not an over exaggeration, positively or negatively, of the character's power. They're just simply saying what they are capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. But I still don't understand. Like, Frieza says, you're not the only one with the power to destroy worlds, right? I just want to get that clear. Like, you understand that part, right?
Hmm.
Do you believe that Frieza at that point in the series scales higher, a lot higher than planet level?
Um, sure, but doesn't really attack my argument. But yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm just asking. Like, do you how? Okay, my point is that him making a statement about being able to destroy a planet is completely inconsequential to his scaling whatsoever. So
Sure.
the point that Vados brings up that Jiren can transcend time, if we go by what you are applying it to within that context, it is inconsequential to Jiren's strength whatsoever. That's the point
Why?
I'm trying to make. That's the syllogism I'm trying to draw.
Okay. Why?
What do you mean why? You literally just agree.
Yeah, why is it
What?
inconsequential to his?
What?
Why is the transcendent time statement inconsequential to his own strength?
I already demonstrated a scenario of Goku having a much better feat.
Yeah, that's
This
what's
is
in
literally
question.
back your
That's what's in
entire
question.
okay.
That's what's
Okay,
in
okay.
question.
That's not a question. The only way you attacked my point was to say that it was an outlier. I simply just said it's
So what is
inconsequential
in
to Jiren's
question?
point, therefore it's not an outlier.
Oh my God, what's going on here? If I'm saying this thing question, if I'm saying this feat that you're bringing up is is an outlier, I'm putting it into question in the sense of I'm arguing against it being able
But
to be
you're not
used within this
directly putting it
scenario or
into
not.
question. You're
If
providing
if you are
you're
then
providing a
saying if you are
situation.
then saying well, or if you are then saying that the statement that I brought up cannot be if you're then saying that the statement that I brought up doesn't necessarily matter due to the fact that this is inconsequential to the to its strength, and you're going on and you're using an argument You're using a feat that I already said was an outlier. That doesn't prove your point. You're using what's in
What?
question
How?
to
What?
define what's in question. So I'll be like
You're
using the
literally just
word
saying I
kind
don't
to
believe.
define kind.
Okay, go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish, bro.
Yeah, I'll be like,
You're not
what you're doing
tracking.
is like,
You're not
what
tracking,
what
bro.
what you're doing is like defining the word kind with the word kind.
No, you didn't attack the scale whatsoever. All you did was say it was an outlier. When I presented a scenario where it doesn't have to be an outlier, it could just be inconsequential to Jiren's scaling, and therefore Jiren would just scale above Goku by default, making him
Yeah.
out-reversal by default, right? You
What
never
is?
attacked that. You're just saying that it's
Oh,
not true because it's not true.
oh my God! No, that's not okay. So you said it's in this statement doesn't have to be an actual make it an outlier. It could just be
I
inconsequential to a scale.
presented a
And
scenario
I
for why the
asked,
statement is not an
hold on,
outlier.
and I asked, okay, why would it be inconsequential to a scaling? And you said because of the feat that I already gave you. The feats that I'm saying this statement is an
Yeah,
outlier
because
of yours.
you didn't
Guys,
attack
you're
the
using
scaling.
the word kind to define the word kind.
You didn't attack the scaling though. All you did was say it was an
That is
outlier. When I
attacking the scale. My fault.
what?
Go ahead.
You
My
realize that
fault.
transcending time and transcending the concept of time can still mean the same thing depending on the context, right? For example, do you agree that an out-of-versal realm transcends time? Yes or no?
That would be the problem. I hope
Do
you
you
understand.
agree that an out-of-versal realm
You don't
transcends
understand that
time?
what you're
Yes or
saying is
no?
that
Oh my
you
god,
don't
bro, just answer
understand.
the
You don't
question.
understand. You don't
Answer the
understand.
question.
You don't
Can you answer
understand
the
that what
question?
you're saying
Can you
is
answer
the
the
problem.
question?
If
Can
they
you answer
mean
the question?
hypothetical,
Can you answer
hold
the
on.
question?
Listen.
Can
If
you answer the
hypothetically,
question?
if hypothetically, if
Can you
hypothetically,
answer the
hold
question?
on. Can you stop talking for a second? If
No, I can't stop
hypothetically,
talking. I asked you a question. You
yes,
have
you.
to answer my
Listen,
question before you move on to
I
another
don't have
point.
to answer the question unless I'm like compromising dialectics. I'm
Yeah, you
obviously
are
not compromising.
compromising
I'm
dialectics.
obviously not compromising dialectics if I'm trying to continue the debate.
Yeah, I'm trying to continue debate as well, and you're not letting me. I simply
I
asked you a question. Okay. I'm asking you a question based off of the point you made prior. Does an
do you believe
out-of-versal
me
realm
not answering
transcend
that
space and
question holds
time?
the
It's not that
entire
hard to
debate?
answer.
Do you think that me not answering that
It's not.
question
It's
holds
not
the
that hard
entire
to
debate?
answer whether or not an out-of-versal realm
Do,
transcends space and time. I'm
do
asking
you
you for
think that me
clarification.
not answering that question holds the entire
Oh my
debate?
god,
Yes or no?
bro! Just go ahead and say what you want to say. You
All
realize
right.
this is just a sub point because I already refuted your point by saying that it's not in context that you're in literally transcending time, just in context of him breaking his time ability.
Yeah,
You
I
realize
don't
that,
have
right?
three mouths. I can't say all. I can't attack all points at once. I have to attack. You threw out 3 points. Attacking each point.
No,
What's going on here?
it was two. I simply
Where's the
illmanned your point and countered it a different way after I already debunked it by saying that it's not in context to him
so
literally transcending time, so it wouldn't apply. It's a different context, a different
so three.
scenario entirely.
So three. That was the. It was a. This is an over exaggeration, whether it be negatively or positively. It's inconsequential to a scaling because of this X thing, which is the feat that you brought up beforehand. And then there's the this doesn't actually mean transcending time. It just means he's overpowering the ability. Those are 3 points.
What
Now
was the first
back
point?
to
What was the first point?
I just told you. Are you not tracking? What's going on here? Yeah, the
What was
over
the first point?
exaggeration portion. The over exaggeration point.
That's a part of the quote unquote third point. It was
It
just
can be a
like an
it could be
example
a
I
part
gave.
still. It could be a part. It's another point.
All right, sure, whatever.
We're all part of the same family. Well, we're different humans. Um, but yeah, back to what I was trying to say. That would be the problem if these two things mean the same thing, but you're applying this character. You're applying this what you call it to the a previous character when it's then established that this other character, via brute strength, is of this level, and it's confirmed that they're stronger than the previous character. That would be the contradiction. This
Why is
stronger
that a
character now
contradiction?
transcends time and space. But a previous character already transcended time and space, but he's weaker. That's the contradiction. It would be
Why
like
can't they
saying that.
both?
It would be like
What?
saying Kid Naruto's planetary. It would be like saying Kid Naruto's planetary when this stronger version of a character finally becomes planetary.
It's not saying he finally becomes planetary, bro. What? They
Obviously, it's
just
not
made
saying
the
that. That's
claim
not
that
what I
his
said.
power. They just made the claim that his power can perform such a feat. It's not necessarily saying he caps at that level, nor is that his like maximum power. Like what the fuck?
Obviously, that's not. Obviously, I'm not saying. Obviously, I'm saying he's high. If you know how
Wait,
elite.
both of y'all chill for a second. Okay. My recording is gonna be a lot for me to export, so I'm gonna need y'all to like for this portion. I'll give you like 5 more minutes, and then or maybe 3 more minutes, and then like we.
Yeah.
I know, but I am too. But after this, I want to move it along so it doesn't take forever. So after those 3 minutes, then Ignat can go on with the scaling of Jim Murray. Does that sound fair?
Uh, I mean, like,
All right. That
yeah.
sound fair, Drip?
Yeah, whatever.
All right. He's African. All right. I'm gonna let y'all continue.
All right. So yeah, that I'm not saying he caps to it. I'm saying this stronger version, like this level of the character transcends time. A previous level, if this level of the character transcends time, why would we apply the same logic to weaker characters?
Because it could just mean that he transcends time on a higher level. The fuck?
What do you mean by that?
Do you believe in higher forms of transcendence over time or space?
Um,
Or over the concept of time and space? Like, unless you don't believe that layers into outer can be a thing or a higher level of outer can be
I
a
don't
thing,
think time
then I
exists
don't
within an
see how it.
outer. I don't think being a, but I don't think like time can actually exist within like an outer construct, or like the power of outer.
Yeah,
In
yeah, I'm
fact,
not. I'm not. Okay, that's completely irrelevant to what I said. Like, I don't understand how that's relevant to what I said.
you just but if we're, I don't think there'd be like layers to time. No, unless we're talking about like,
I didn't
are
say
we
layers
talking
to
about like
time. Where are you getting this from? I said
you
layers
did
to
say,
outer.
yeah, and layers to outer versa. Where's the relevancy?
Bro, what? Like I said, it could be higher forms of transcendence over said feat. Hence, it doesn't form a contradiction. I already gave you the analogy that saying that an out-of-versal realm transcends time is true because it does transcend time. So if Jiren is stated to transcend time, this is going by your argument, by the way, because I already refuted this by saying that it's not in context to him literally transcending time. It's just breaking through a time ability via sheer will. So I already said that, like I was saying before, if Jiren transcends time, and Goku already transcends time, and they're making this seem like something more impressive. It could just be that Jiren transcends time on a higher level.
Okay, so what higher level in question? What do you mean by higher level of transcending time?
Were you not listening? Like literally just one more layer into outer or something like that. Like, bro, what?
Yeah, time doesn't exist within outer. That's why I said that beforehand.
No,
If,
bro, you're not
if,
listening to what I'm
like,
saying.
that's
Outer
what I'm saying.
Versal
I don't think
Realm
there's higher levels
transcends
of time.
time.
Why would there be
Outer
higher
Versal.
levels of time?
I didn't say higher levels of time. I said higher levels of transcending time. One layer, two layers into outer versal has a higher level of transcending time than one layer into outer versal. So Jiren being postulated as more impressive than Goku, who already demonstrated a feat of transcending time on a conceptual level, could just mean that Jiren is on a higher layer of infinity that transcends time or the
I don't think
concept
that
of
can be
time.
applicable because time itself is what's being placed upon him. I don't think that would be
What?
applicable. If like time itself is the thing that is holding him down, and there
Yeah,
wouldn't be. I don't
because
know why they would be referring to like this. You'd be referring to this quote unquote like outer like these other layers of outer if they're referring to time itself.
yeah, yeah, because in Dragon Ball, characters can like empower their hacks ability with like their energy, right? So someone can use a time-based ability on you, but he's empowering it with, like let's say outer versal levels of energy. That's the thing. So if you're stronger than someone, you can overpower their hacks abilities, right? Just like let's say freaking Goldo, for example. Now, Goldo, who Goldo is someone in character who will always use his time stop ability when he's like he feels cornered or anything like that. But yet he's still below the likes of Frieza. He's still below the likes of Otherworld Saga Goku. And when he was pressed, the entire Ginyu Force were pressed. Perfect Cell, Frieza were pressed. He didn't use the time ability on Goku whatsoever, implying that he knew it wouldn't work. So again,
I
if
don't.
someone like Hit has a time
That's not the
ability,
same thing. Just
What?
because I don't use this thing doesn't mean that this thing wouldn't work on the character.
No, no, no,
Could
no.
just
I
you
literally
know,
presented. I gave an argument for why he objectively wouldn't use it if it doesn't work. Like, what the fuck?
yeah, that one presupposes that the argument that you're referring to automatically means that it's like true in the sense of like you gotta apply that to time. Because I think like it'll be like irrelevant if these characters are out of verse and use time based abilities, or which time itself is infinitely above you. It'll be
Yeah,
like
because I'm arguing that they scale off of AP. That's how I scaled Goku to Arale in the first place.
yeah.
The
What
fuck?
I'm saying, what I'm saying is this construct in if there's oh fuck, my phone's
All
about
right,
to die.
those three
Hold on.
minutes are up.
Hold on. My phone about to die. I'm about to come in on my
All
other
right,
phone.
just letting you know those 3 minutes are up. So do y'all want to give like closing statements for this point? Do you want me to judge that way, or do you just want me to wait till the end to like judge the entire thing?
Yo, we concluding?
I mean, we can wait until he gets on his phone.
No, he still has to scale his character. I promise a point, but they both have to come to like some sort of conclusion on this point.
Oh, okay, so we're not concluding.
Not the entire debate, no.
Wait, are we concluding to that? To Drip's Drip's Goku outer scale?
Drip started to scale. It was his turn. You conclude on that specifically, and I can give my opinion on that if that's how they want to tang it. If they want me to just do like one ultimate ruling at the end, I can do that as well.
No. You should. I feel like you should break it down, like like how who won this part, and yeah, just
Yeah,
move
that's
on.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
There was only one argument made anyway, so yeah. I wrote everything down. And now we wait.
Healing energy on me, baby.
Okay.
Can you make a wish for me? Healing energy on me, baby. Can you
Some
make a
people want to
wish
be let
for
out.
me?
Life and nihilism.
Healing
Yo,
energy on me,
This is not what I
baby.
had in mind.
Wish for me. Healing energy on
He's not
me.
American. He's African.
Baby,
Bro, who let
can
Michael up,
you
bro?
make a wish for me? Lately, I'm telling you to bring it again. Yeah.
Bro, who was singing?
It's Drip, bro.
Bro, you're Nigerian for that.
Facts. Pray to God I don't have parents, otherwise it would have been got the fuck up out of
Energy on
Yeah,
me. Baby,
bro,
can you make a
bro,
wish
shut up,
for
bro.
me?
Drip, shut up, bro. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that, bro. We do not want to hear that, bro. We don't want to hear that, bro. Shut up.
Baby, can you make a
We
wish
don't
for
want.
me?
We don't want.
Watch it, bro.
X the
Healing
wizard,
energy
bro.
on me. Baby, can you make a wish for me?
Drip, bro. Shut up, bro.
Healing energy on
Oh wait, hold on.
me.
Don't watch EXO scream.
Bro, bro, this nigga EXO looking up some bullshit.
Alright. I'm gonna stop the recording for now, but I'm gonna need Ignant to come back so I can give
Wait, are
my
y'all? Wait. Are y'all
Fill
making
his
this
life
a
out.
like? Yo,
Yeah.
Clorox. Yo,
What's
Clorox.
up?
Are you making this a like some YouTube rec again?
Somebody I just was asked to record. So
Oh, well, okay.
I don't post debate recs, not even myself. That's usually just other people.
Oh,
I wasn't even done with my scaling anyways. I was gonna make it consistent. because he said outlier. I was gonna attack it in a different way.
I mean,
Well, what else do you have?
again, only one argument is made. So for the both of you, so you don't need to really do that. I think this is really clean as far as it's just one argument and not multiple between the two of you.
Bro, this debate finna be an hour long.
No, it's not. That's why I gave him 3 minutes to do what he do. For
Clorox,
Ignant to give his like
currently,
thorough
yo, Clorox,
clarification on this contention.
Yo, Clorox, currently, how long is the rec?
I just stopped recording right a few seconds ago. Let me
I
check.
bet it hit 30 minutes.
Probably, but nah, probably like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was close.
I'm about to check.
It's 30 minutes, definitely.
Yo, Lifeism wants to be let up.
It is
Right,
2025.
I'll let him up right now.
Oh, it's 15 minutes on the dot. 15 minutes and 36 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, I was close, bro. I was close.
So in the end, it might be 30 minutes. Like,
I'll let you up right now.
They're careless up too.
Wait, why are we letting up? Why are we letting other people up here?
Other people are finna debate after this one.
Yeah, after this one, but like not right now.
Wait, they're careless up. He wanted to talk to I think Drip Sauce about his scaling. Wait, Drip Sauce, just to be clear. Was your scale like a troll?
Bro,
or...
who cares, bro?
Well, let me just get clarity.
Okay,
You
ask
asked if
him in
it was a
chat.
troll or not. You
The
asked
only
if his scale
response
was
to
a troll.
me-
I don't think it was.
He generally
I don't think you. This nigga life is laughing like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with these. Like, especially since they're not
Nigga,
part of the debate.
This is a fucking straw man, bro. I never claimed it was a higher dimensional level in the first place. I just said higher level of transcendence over time than an outerversal realm. He didn't track that.
I think
He thought I was.
I think Barrow is still recording. Drew, you might want to wait
you wanna know
until Ignant comes back.
you wanna know what would be a good idea if we let Drip and Iggy type shit.
God.
We should let Drip and Iggy give their reason on why they think they won each. So they won each.
No, Ignant and Drip are both gonna have concluding statements for this point, and then I'm going to give my opinion on it since I recorded it and wrote down everything that they said. And afterwards, Ignat will go into his scale, and then they'll have their cross-reference, their back and forth, and then we'll do the same thing at the end. And then ultimately, I'll tell you like my opinion.
Bro, Goku, bro, stop letting this little ass kid up, bro.
Wait, me, bro.
Who is it then?
Yo, look at the mod logs or something. It wasn't
Okay,
me.
hold on. I'm finna look right now. Nigga, no. Bro, you was annoying as shit. Bro, you was annoying as shit, bro. No, we do not want you. We do not want your ass up here.
Okay. Who here has perms first and foremost? Okay. Well, if one of you has the power to grant me like some sort of perms, at least for the stage, that'd be great.
I'll give you some right now.
Because the number one thing the only thing that'll piss me off is an unorganized environment for debating. You know, you can yell back and forth between the person that's involved, but when people like start playing 8-player Smash Bros with the free for all shit, I don't fuck with that. Me? You asking me? Oh. It's alright. Well, I mean, it's not really fair since Jim Mori hasn't been scaled yet, so you know. Okay. Oh, the point. Well, I wrote it down. Jesus Christ. Hold up. Give me a second.
All right, let him back up. Oh, what the fuck did he do? Leave the server? Oh, what's the point? His other phone died. Oh, okay. It's Clorox.
Who do I have winning this point?
I'm back.
Okay. Yo, Ignant.
Not
The
niggas did
three,
not send me the shit. You know, I told
chill.
niggas to send me this damn thing.
Yo, Ignant. The 3 minutes
What's
are up for
good?
both of y'all. Chill. Since Drip decided to go first, he can give the first concluding statement, and then afterwards, Ignat, you can do the same thing. All right. For this point specifically, then I'll tell you like my thoughts on between the both of you, what I wrote down based on it, who won the point, and then afterwards you can start scaling Jamori. Does that sound fair?
All right.
So Drip, you're up for your first concluding statement about your scale. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So my point was essentially that Goku is out of Versal, and I presented a scale which he didn't contend directly, and then he claimed it was an outlier because Jiren was stated to transcend time in a much later arc. I attacked this in one way by saying that Jiren transcending time was in a different context rather than him literally transcending time physically, and it doesn't even matter because him transcending time and it being considered impressive could just mean that he transcends time on a higher level than Goku does, which I believe is sufficient to justify the fact that Goku transcends time, but it's not necessarily contradictory to Jiren instead of to transcend time. Simple as that.
Yes. My fucking phone. I hope this shit. Hello? I'm about to
Hello.
say, niggas went quiet. I thought my shit died again because the shit went blank. Is he done? What did you just say to me? Fuck. It didn't let me. Is that all? Seems like it's all since nobody's answering. Yeah. So, the argument I presented, basically to like contend the whole point is, like I said beforehand, when he presented like a Raleigh being above the concepts of time and space, and Goku like scaling to a Raleigh, this Goku being outer. I consider that via saying that it was an outlier via the Jiren statement. Said that Goku is weaker than that of Jiren, so it makes no sense for the statement to exist. If the character below him, already transcends time, um, and the argument against like the argument that I presented against like the whole like you could just like transcend like a higher layer. I said that doesn't make sense because like the gap for time and outer is like inadequately large. And I forgot what else I fucking said. I didn't really get to contend the entire argument because we only had like 5 minutes left. The silence is deafening. Stop that glazing shit. I guess Clocks is writing all this down. Uh, okay.
Yo, Clorox, can I add to my conclusion? Hello? Hello? Clorox? The fuck?
Where Clorox go? Hello.
Bleach Uno.
Did bro
Clorox.
skedaddle?
I add to my conclusion. It doesn't even matter because I already stated it within the dialect.
Did bro skedaddle? What happened to Clorox? Stop blazing me, nigga. Oh my Willie boy!
Anyways, I'm gonna go on mute.
Alright, T. Hello, Clorox, you there? Well, I guess we'll just be chilling here then. Banana. Do 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 do. Banana. Do 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 do. Banana. Do 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 do. Clorox, if you're talking, nobody can hear you. I just want to let you know that. Alrighty then.
So what's happening now?
No idea. We're waiting for a verdict from Clorox, but Clorox is MIA.
This old ass nigga probably fell asleep.
I hope not. There's 40 people here just to look at like Clark
All right, my
sleeping.
fault.
Oh, he's back. Did you go to sleep, man?
No, bro. Said these bathrooms. All right. All right.
Oh, okay.
Did both of you give y'all statements already?
Yeah, he gave his. Drip Sauce
Yeah,
said that
if
he
you want
wanted
me
to
to repeat
add
myself,
this.
then I can go ahead.
No. Ignant needs to give his too if he hasn't already.
Like Drip Sauce said he wanted to add to it, so if he wants to go add it, it's better to him to just. If he can do that, he better for him to just like finish his conclusion than me going on.
I didn't know if he finished or not yet. It seems like everybody was
He
waiting for
did
me.
finish. He did finish. He was just asking if he could add to the conclusion.
No, it's the concluding statement. Ignat, it's your turn to go.
He
Oh,
already gave his.
he
You
didn't
already
hear
gave
mine,
it?
so
He already gave his.
Okay.
yeah.
I
I
think
heard
I might know
mine.
what the gist of it is, and I have it on recording, so you no worries.
I bet.
Okay, my verdict for this point is that let's start from the beginning. From the beginning, Drip scaled his character to Outerversal via scaling to a character who was able to casually do the same. He performs a better feat by outperforming this person. Ignat, instead of arguing the validity of such, says that it is an outlier as his argument because of a character afterwards, quote unquote, beginning to overpower his time cage or to transcend time. Basically saying that that is a against it. Drip
Can he be
says
Goku
that
though?
just a Jesus Christ. Let me just stop. Drip says counters this by saying it's a non sequitur and demonstrating that this thing could very well just be hyperbole, which is not indicative of feats. Ignant goes on again to argue that Drip is contradicting himself by saying hyperbole wouldn't apply to this definition. Drip argues that the scenario in which he's framing this to be a contradiction is actually it being inconsequential and indicative of its exaggerative nature. Ignant then again argues the point is that he's putting what is said into question, Drip's argument, and he's saying because it's an outlier. Drip counters it by saying it doesn't have to be, so this contention is baseless or repetitive, hence why he says, again, that he's putting a question because it's an outlier, which was his original contention. So I didn't see a refutation to the second point that Drip made, rather a repetition of him saying that he put it into question and that it's an outlier because of these reasons after Drip addressed it. So I do think that Drip has the point on this one. And now, having that out of the way, you can scale your character now, Ignant.
Hold on.
Jim
I do
Murray,
have
I believe it is.
I apologize. I do have a question real quick. You said you didn't hear a refutation towards what point?
The second point.
The second point, which was
Your response to the second point was from your argument that Drip was contradicting himself by saying that hyperbole wouldn't apply to the definition of the scenario, what's going on. Drip again argues it being inconsequential as the scenario, not having any bearing on it being some sort of contradiction to his
yeah.
own
I attacked.
argument.
I already did attack that. I attacked because he used that. He's used the analogy of like Frieza saying that like he's like Toppa's not the only one to destroy that can destroy worlds. I used that. I attacked that by saying, well, in that analogy, they're just
That's
simply saying that they
beforehand.
can't do that.
That's before these 2 points were made by you and Drip. That's what I'm talking about. Like
That the
after it's on recording in like in reference to that argument, you said that it was faulty and that you put it into question already because it's an outlier, which is your
Oh
original
yeah,
contention.
no,
You
yeah.
do
He
not have
said
to
it was.
argue with me on it. It's just something that
No,
happened.
no, no, no. I was just saying because you said you didn't hear whatchamacallit. I was just telling you. That's. I'm not
I didn't
arguing
hear
with
your
you.
closing statement. That's it. I
Yeah.
just didn't hear your closing statement.
I just gonna say this one last thing, and then like we can move on then. Sure. Uh, about the inconsequential shit. Yeah, you are right. I did ask him like, why is it inconsequential? And then like he went back to the original point, saying it's inconsequential because of this, because of the feat that he presented in the first place, which is circular. But
Well,
yeah, we can.
that's not really what was said. I mean, the point of it being inconsequential in the first place is to demonstrate that this isn't literal and that it wouldn't be a contradiction, which was your argument that was
Yeah,
being
and I
responded
asked him
to.
why is it inconsequential, and he said because of the feat that I presented to you.
And the reasons that he presented prior, yes, he did use as justification for it being such.
Yeah, and that
That's
was
what
the
happened.
feat of like him fighting Raleigh, which is why it was in question.
He also gave an example though about like Frieza
Yeah, he
being
gave like
in
3 different examples,
Yeah,
not just
how
two.
many,
The
how
one
many
that's in
examples?
question is the one that you're talking about, obviously. But you
Yeah,
saying that the point of that is putting what he said in question because it's an outlier is the exact same thing as what you did in the beginning when you
no, no, no.
said
I
that
didn't say
it is
because
an
it's
outlier.
X. I said it was. I said me posing it as an outlier puts this feat into question. I'm not saying it's an out. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that he has to throw it away because of the outlier. I'm saying that like him going back to the original thing that's
I didn't
in
say that either.
question.
I didn't say that you had to throw it either. And don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say that.
No, no, I didn't say you said that.
I
I
said
was
that
clarifying.
listen. I'm saying that the last point that you made about you putting it into question is the first thing you did. And that acted as a response to the second back and forth point of contention, which was not answered by you. After you asked him that question about what was inconsequential, You gave multiple examples, and in those examples, you delve into it, but never give really a core refutation to what it's supposed to prove, which is that it doesn't have to be a contradiction because of the whole hyperbole thing mentioned in the first half.
Okay.
So that's why I'm giving Drip the point. It's not that anything else outside of that is pretty cut and dry. That's why I said one argument was made by each of you, and kind of that root argument stems from like what is and what isn't. I judge that it is not inherently contradictory given those examples that weren't answered to. So now that I have given Trip this point, now you can in turn skill Jamori if you're ready for that.
Sure. Let's see.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I had myself muted because my brother is fucking snoring, bro. Shut your bitch ass up, nigga.
Bro, just hang him, bro. Just hang him. Trust.
Hang him is crazy. Hang him on recording is crazy. But
Hey, relax.
yeah. But yeah. Let me just grab this scan. So Mori Jin, like during like the last like few chapters right before like the Earth is going to explode, Mori Jin was like racing to a portal with like his people. Was racing to a portal with his people, and then like after racing to his portal during this time, he's like meets up with his ex Zoing Chang, and within this what we call it, she like confirms that the dimension that they were in, um, she confirms that the dimension that they were in was like between time and space, and then confirms that Morihjin and Mubong like cracked it, and which since these like cracking like a atemporal and
Where are you
aspatial,
sending the scans?
huh?
Where are you sending the scans? Where are you sending the scans?
He can put it in general as well.
I'll just
Alright.
explain it first. Let me grab the scans. I got you.
Yeah, you might want to do to be more to the point, just send the scans first and then get the argument derived from those.
Okay.
Dum 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 dum.
I think Goku solos. That's just my opinion, though.
No, this is when they're about to fight. Blah blah blah. I don't give a fuck about that.
Bro, what is this dude Michael talking about?
I think this nigga's
Yo, he's mad because I gave bro my role.
All that for nobody to read it.
He's been blowing up my DMs, bro.
Goku, stop putting condoms on little boys, bro. Come on.
It's not me, bro.
What is being
Not me,
said?
bro.
Yo, can we let Michael back up here? I think he's a very good judge.
No,
What?
no, bro.
Michael should debate Drip,
Not
bro.
just. You gotta let Michael up.
Just
Drip.
talking shit.
Drip,
Are people
debate
literally
Michael?
just allergic to healthy discussions? These niggas live to see something like unhinged. Bro, please relax. Do you have Rukia over any of the Stern Ritter? Yes. Yes, I do. She literally kills one of them. Anywho's.
Yo, who said you won't ban him?
Say I won't.
You will.
Stop, bro.
Quick before
Yo,
Goku
chill,
gets
chill. I'm tired, bro. I'm tired.
Work like it's magic you do. So you
Yeah,
don't
stop with that beautiful ass voice.
my mind.
Oh, bro,
Don't
stop.
Okay,
Too many.
ban him. Quick, Goku said he's gonna put a condom on him
Alright,
again.
sure.
Ban him.
No, bro. No, bro.
What do you mean?
Just say I won't.
Alright, cool.
Bro, I'm giving you permission to
You're
ban
my
him.
favorite kind of man. So I love what I always expected. And I hate when I
This
go.
beautiful nigga voice in my ears, bro.
Oh wait, hold on, let him cook.
Yeah, we gotta have Michael come up here and
Dang
do
it.
it. Yo, Michael, you gotta join up and pop your
Yeah,
shit.
it's
Sent to
time to come back.
West Coast in general. Sent to scans in general.
Yo, Michael, talk your shit with the music in the background from this beautiful Nigerian fellow.
Bro, no, bro, no, just do no, bro, just do
The
a gift
argument.
check.
Hold
You
on.
finish.
Yeah, Tandem is my backup account. But but the argument is since he can like exist and like crack, since he can exist and like affect a spatial and a temporal dimension, he's scared of outer. But because by definition, outer is being above was it I forgot what it was. It wasn't just like being above. Let me what I don't want to phrase it. Just grab the definition of outer. What T-Rex is the word we're appealing to for outer?
Wait. I just want to get clarification for the fourth scan. When it says that if you choose the world, you wage an endless battle with the soldiers and beasts that will come through the dimensional cracks created through your fight with the whatever the fuck. Where is this taking place?
The war itself is taking place within like the with Morgan within Morgan's dimension. They're coming from like different dimensions, coming to Morgan's to fight him. That's why they said he would wage war. They're specific. The target is Morgan. That's wherever he is, they will go to where he is.
Mm. So like they're coming to his Nirvana state, like the
What do you
place
mean
where
by
he, like they're coming
Nirvana?
to the realm where he's like in the state of Nirvana.
Wherever he is, wherever he is, if once he goes, what they're saying is what they're saying is once he goes back down, they'll come through and come to him, regardless of where they are, regardless of where he is. So it's not that they're
I'm not
gonna
sure.
break through the. It's not that they're gonna, regardless if they break through like the cracks that are within that realm or outside of the realm, it doesn't matter. Wherever once Morrigan goes back, they will all target him.
All right.
Yo,
So
Goose,
yeah,
why you
since
ban
he can
Michael?
exist, since he can exist, um, since
I
he can
still say I
exist,
won't.
excuse me, since he can exist and he can affect an aspatial and atemporal realm, he'll be out of it.
Can Goku move?
No. But anyways, is that all of your skill or
That's a scaling for like outer Mori. Yeah,
so should I give my contentions now?
yeah.
I just want to make sure this nigga Clorox is here. Hey Clorox,
Hey, don't
hello.
say the
Yes,
N
I'm
word,
here.
yo.
I just talked 30 seconds ago. Yes, I'm sir.
All right. So firstly, I'm not really understanding how this makes it outer because there is nothing in these scans that imply that it is. All I'm seeing here is that it's a place that's where space and time overlap, and you can oversee all of creation from there, and you become a true god free from the laws of nature. I'm not understanding how this would make him outerversal. And even if it does, my scale puts Goku above that because he was able to fight someone who's, transcended the cosmology which contained an outerversal realm. So even if you argue that this was outerversal, Goku would scale to, someone who transcended over that in AP. And then going by what I established, Jiren, who scales to a higher level than even that, Goku would scale to him as well. And therefore, it would be
That's extra
inconsequential
scaling
to
that's
his
being
Mori.
applied there. That's extra scaling that's being applied, but um, which wasn't presented within like the conversation beforehand. Um, yeah, like the reason why this would be an outer versal realm in the first place, or be a realm above, um, a realm above like the concepts of space and time, is due to the fact that due to the fact that it by nature would be beyond, and by nature would be beyond it, where space and time does not exist in.
What?
Um,
I didn't hear you. There's a lot of noise in the
hold on a quick.
background.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. That's my sibling.
Can
So
you like
okay.
execute those black people? Thank you.
On a recording is like wild.
You're cooked, bro. You said that on recording. You're cooked,
It's
nigga.
like
Okay.
it's like
What does that
like
mean?
Exo's the type of nigga that like will
Okay.
murder a nigga
Okay.
on live
Ex-
television.
Oh my god,
Black
both of y'all
people.
chill.
But,
Yo, Ignat, can you start over again with your
yeah. I was
question
saying
again?
that like it's like it's beyond the concepts of space because it's aspatial and atemporal. That's what I was saying. It's where time and space meet, meaning that it's a
That's your argument.
yeah. Basically, like if these two things
Cool.
overlap, you're where they overlap. You're in the gap. You're in the gap between the two. Thus, in this gap between these two objects, the two objects do not exist. Thus,
All
if you're
right.
in a point
So,
where time and space overlap, that means that you're in a place where time and space does not exist. Thus, making the place aspatial and atemporal.
okay. I think this would be a non sequitur pretty easily because I want to ask what your argument is because you're claiming that it is aspatial and atemporal, but you're not actually justifying why it is because it could just be that it's a higher dimensional plane because orthogonally you can have higher, levels of infinity. If you view something, universal like infinite 4D space-time continuum, which I'm assuming is what you're arguing for, the the realities, right? So if you view that, you haven't even justified that they're infinite, anyways. But I'm just steelmanning anyway. But if you view that as being finite, where you can observe it from the outside, then it would just postulate that you're a higher level of infinity, which we have to assume is 5D rather than being aspatial or atemporal. And even so, being aspatial and atemporal is not a justification for outer. And like I said, you didn't justify why it is. You just argued for why it could be. You're not giving an actual objective reason why it has to be aspatial and atemporal.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that's why I asked beforehand. Like, what definition for outer are we in place?
I mean, transcending the concepts of space and time, the true abstract concepts of space and time. So.
Yeah, okay, so if that's why I'm saying that the reason why this thing was above it is because the thing in question doesn't even exist in the first place. This thing in question doesn't exist in a damn does not exist in the first place. It'd be like
Yeah,
completely. Notice it is.
yeah, and I can agree with that. Like I can agree that that could be the case, right? But you're not presenting a reason why it is the case. And furthermore, just because space and time don't exist, don't necessarily mean that it has to be, out of versal or conceptually absent. Because it could just be 0D, and 0D is still within the confines of dimensionality. You literally have zero-dimensional topological spaces in mathematics, so it doesn't necessarily have to be what you're postulating it to be. You have to argue for that objectively and not possibly.
Yeah, for real. What he said.
Yeah. So one, 0D. The fact that saying that it could be 0D, that I don't think that could be applicable in the first place is due to the fact that like the statement is that it's where these things overlap in the first place. Oh, 0D is a point that is below dimension entirely versus
Mm-hmm.
these things where like the gap versus this being a gap between dimensions itself. That it,
Mm-hmm.
the way to say 0D in the first place. Secondly, if you scale above the concept of space and time, which I don't know if that's your definition or what, but um,
Mm-hmm.
the whole point of like scaling above the or transcending the concepts of space and time, you'd be saying that you'd be above this aspatial and atemporal thing in the first place. If you're saying that you're above these concepts itself are aspatial and atemporal, if you're saying that being above an thing get you to outer, then me showcasing that like he can significantly affect this thing, and on top of significantly affecting it, he can exist within it. Then why would the like
Mm-hmm.
logic like not be applicable to him?
Okay, so I think you're strawmanning my point here. Not gonna lie, because my argument wasn't that it's aspatial and atemporal. My argument was that it's conceptually aspatial and atemporal, which are two completely different things. If you want me to explain why there is a distinct, there's a distinction
Yeah, you can
between the
explain
two,
why.
I can go ahead and explain
Yeah,
why
you
there's a
could.
distinction. All right. One sec. Gotta go get something.
Yo, Kusa, why you getting exposed in general, bro? Why you calling bitches
All right.
mom and shit?
All right, I'm back. I was taking
Bro,
a glass of.
bro, I said okay, gang. I ain't say no fucking okay,
Bro,
mom.
you called her mommy, bro. Like
Yeah,
this is
I'm done. I was taking a glass of water. So I'm gonna explain the distinction between being dimensionless and being conceptually dimensionless. A dimensionless place is what we call 0D, which is in nature still inside of the concept of dimensions, right? Thus, I'm claiming this. I'm gonna justify this later on. So, um, what's it? If let's say you're one might think that to exist in a zero-dimensional space is basically to be entirely independent of the concept of space and time, right? But it's not inherently outer-versal because zero-dimensional spaces are just like topological spaces within mathematics, which just denote the absence of dimensions, right? While outer-versal in of itself denotes the absence of dimensions in a conceptual sense, which means that any layer of infinity, like any dimensional axes, cannot exist within that place, right? While zero dimensional is completely distinct because, as you said, it exists below dimensionality, right? So if I'm justifying my claim by presenting evidence for why it is conceptually dimensionless and not just dimensionless, then you can't use my standards to apply to yours when you didn't present the exact same format that I did.
Huh? I don't. Okay, so you said that something that is 0D still like abides by like not even abides by but holds the concept
No, like, yeah, I
of
said it's
space.
still within the concept of dimension. And I told you it was under a category known as mathematical topological spaces. You can literally just look this up. But if you want me to show you evidence for this, I can, Google it real quick.
Yeah. Okay, so the argument is that like it could just simply be 0D instead of being like conceptually like spatial
No,
and
no,
atemporal.
that's the second argument. The first argument that I made is that it could just simply be higher dimensional, and you didn't really justify as to why, like like what I'm saying is you didn't really justify as to why the places that it supposedly exists transcendent of, which you haven't really justified most of your argument, but those places would have to be infinite in order for this to be a higher dimension because to view something that is infinite as finite would imply that you would be on a higher magnitude of infinity, right? So if I steal man and say that, those realities, those gold card thingies are realities and they're all infinite in size. If I steal man, because you didn't justify it, and then this place views them as finite, it could just simply be that this place is of a higher dimensional reason to objectively believe that it is aspatial, atemporal. It's just a possibility, which you haven't really justified within the context of your argument.
I've never really brought up the cards in the first place. I was referring to like the statement where like I was specifically referring to the statement of the what's called the statement where it says that this is a place where time and space overlap. I was referring to that. I don't see how like that would be I don't see how that would like coincide with the
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how that would coincide with the idea of it being like a higher. They're referring, like I said beforehand, referring to it being an overlapping of these points in place. Like I said before, if
Yeah.
these two things, a place where two things overlap is basically the gap between these. In this gap, these two things in question do not exist.
Or the things that exist between them could just be beyond their comprehension. So, for example, right? Let me not use any example. Let me use your example, right? The person talking to Jim Mori is explaining how space and time overlap. So obviously, it's gonna be like postulating an idea to Jin Mori of what level of space and time he's aware of, right? So automatically he's just going to assume that it's referring to the space and time that he's from, that he's aware of. So if something is between this, right, it doesn't necessarily have to be that it is aspatial or atemporal. It could just be of a higher, like layer of infinity that he can't comprehend. So it doesn't negate the fact that it could be a higher, like a higher dimension. It could just be that they're referring to how space and time of what he's aware of what he can comprehend, overlap in this place. Just because I say space and time overlap in this place
All right. The
doesn't
same amount of time has
imply-
elapsed. Chill. The same amount of time has elapsed as beforehand. You know the drill. Drip went first last time for his concluding statement. Since this is your scale, Ignat, can you go first, please?
I didn't even get to attack the last point, but all right.
I mean, it was said beforehand, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. All right, but yeah. So I made the point that like this thing in question. I made the point of like this Mori would scale to outer due to the fact the character in question. That it stated that like the endpoints of where they are, or not the endpoint within is between time and space with overlapping or something that's between two things. It would be inside the gap of said thing, thus this thing wouldn't exist, thus making these two things aspatial and atemporal. And he made the argument that what it could just be 0D, and then I said that if this thing is devoid of space and time, if this thing is devoid of space and time, it'll be aspatial and atemporal. Just like our concept is aspatial and atemporal. He said that there's a distinction between like what concept, like something that's like conceptually aspatial and atemporal, something that's just devoid of time. Which I was gonna refute that, but I didn't think I got to refute that yet.
All right, no, it's your turn, Drip.
So firstly, I when he made the claim that like all the scans would amount to Jin Mori being outered, the first thing I said was that it wouldn't matter if he was outered because I already scaled Goku to someone who transcends that level from the start. So it wouldn't matter if Jin Mori was outered. Goku would just, in terms of strength, transcend that level. So his scaling would be inconsequential to Goku whatsoever. So he would just lose the argument that Jin Mori, he would just like not be able to fulfill his claim that Jin Mori outscales Goku or outhacks Goku. And then the second thing I did was I countered his argument that it being aspatial and atemporal would necessarily make it outer by saying that it being aspatial and atemporal doesn't necessarily imply that it's conceptually aspatial and atemporal, that would have to be justified. And I said that even so, it doesn't necessarily have to be aspatial and atemporal, as it could just be a higher dimension. So he's arguing that it is the case that it's aspatial and atemporal with no justification why it is the case, but just why it could be the case. And I granted the idea that it could be the case, but then his premise would not be fulfilled if he doesn't argue for why it is objectively the case. And if I'm contending his premise, if I'm contending the context, the content which he's using to justify his premise, and he doesn't objectify it, then he doesn't have any argument, and therefore would just lose.
Alright, let's wrap a neat bow on this. The conclusion for this one specifically a little harder. You did come with more than one argument. Before both of y'all leave, I want to say that both of y'all are significantly better debaters than Blue Marvel. Let's just get out the way. You know what I'm saying? But not. I want to start with the sub points first. Type shit. I didn't hear you, but type shit. But yeah, basically, for what Drip said, I would have given the sub point of 0D to him had he not said that 0D in the sense that he was talking about was the topological spaces. That would actually necessitate that, given the argument, that Ignat would be correct in saying that since this thing in question, I'm presuming to be spaceless and timeless, or aspatial or atemporal, then it would have to be outer versal sense. It can't be 0D in the topological spatial sense. Drip, if he made no distinction for that, as talked about 0D is just the complete absence of dimensions, is still a conceptually below dimensions. So him making that distinction to refer to topological spaces did give the subpoint to Ignant. And for these, chill. The second one is claiming that the actual dimension itself is outer versal because it's aspatial and atemporal, and the justification for this being questioned by Drip, saying that it's lacking dimensions because of overlap, which was questioned by Drip twice, such as him mentioning other interpretations. This can not be as such as being a lower dimension, which, granted, I did give the subpoint to Ignant, but also it being a higher dimension. Because if it encompasses two dimensions, the dimensions is encompass. If you're in between that, you're still within a higher dimension in the orthogonal sense, which is the first argument I think that Drew brought up as a refutation of that. So even though I think Ignant won the subpoint, I think that the original counter to this argument is valid by Drip, and like he said, I did grant him that Goku was at a level higher than baseline outer versal, therefore from leading to his logical conclusion that it would be sound in saying that Goku would still outscale anyways. So ultimately the point does fall, or the argument in general falls more in Drip's favor. So I give the verdict to Drip on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about high time I end the fuck out of this long ass recording. Jesus Christ, how long is this one?
Come die in noblesse, nigga. Come die in noblesse. Come on,
Type
big
shit,
ass
type
nigga.
shit.
Come die in
Alright,
noblesse.
shut up. Now,
Why niggas be big red in noblesse, bro? Let me mute
that's
myself.
nice. Yo, chill. Alright, I'm dipping out because y'all made me miss up on some coochie. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but I think Careless wants to come up here and debate. I'm dipping out though. I'll see y'all later.
Damn, I was about to ask him a question. So I'm gonna ask y'all a question instead, since he's gone. Real quick, right?
Alright.
Scaling to